Gear can occupy multiple parachain slots and still be one application platform.
Hello and welcome to Crypto Interviews. My name is Claudio and this is Cryptochain, the channel that brings you crypto news, reviews, tutorials, and interviews with a focus on the Kusama ecosystems. And joining me today is Nikolay from Gear Technologies, who are working on an awesome solution related to WASM smart contracts on both Polkadot and Kusama, and is going to share this information with us, and we'll find out more about it. And of course, we'll hopefully find out more about the upcoming Crowdloan, which I'm sure you're all excited about. So Nikolay, welcome to the channel. If you want to introduce yourself to the audience, so how did you first get started into crypto?
Yeah, excited to be here. Thank you for inviting. First I got into crypto, I believe it was 2015. And I almost tried to invent something like that was already invented, like Ethereum. So I tried to do like kind of unstoppable contracts, but I had a completely different design in mind. And then actually after researching a little bit researching around, I realized that Ethereum guys are already doing what I was trying to do. So I started following the project, looking how they do it, and basically it was just a hobby back then. And once, not sure if you recall, once Gavin and a few other guys left Ethereum Foundation and founded Parachain Technologies. It had a different name back then. I had a friend who left Ethereum Foundation with Gavin, and he invited me to join the team as well. And I was actually part of the original team that founded what is now known as Parachain Technologies. Yeah, so
wow, awesome. So what was your what were you actually doing at Parachain Technologies? Were you an engineer there? Were you a developer? Like what?
Yeah, I was an engineer. By that time, I had already like plenty of experience in engineering. Like I was programming since I was a kid, doing like competitive stuff, like working for enterprises, this kind of things. And so we did a lot of stuff in Parachain, and we started as an Ethereum company. So we implemented alternative implementation of Ethereum node in Rust. So this was first things that we were doing, but we actually, like, it was quite a successful piece of software. And I remember there was times that Ethereum network was relying solely on our software because of the different issues that were fixed later. Like standard Ethereum Foundation Go client couldn't keep up with the network, for example, one of those things.
Yeah.
And in Parity we also did more stuff, like less known stuff, maybe, as for example, Parity Bitcoin, Parity Zcash, and I was a part of that team. For example, we implemented Parity Bitcoin. It was just 3 people of us doing full implementation of Bitcoin protocol, including networking, database layer, like everything from scratch in Rust as well. And Parity Zcash, as Zcash itself is just a fork of Bitcoin. Our Parity Zcash was a fork of our Parity Bitcoin, so it was not that trivial. Like as you might know, Zcash requires knowledge of, not knowledge, but at least understanding of advanced crypto primitives, but we still managed to deliver it. And also was a part of the team. I led the team that I think was deployed the first live network that was utilizing WebAssembly smart contracts. It was like 2017 something, and yeah, like nobody did this by then. So plenty of our libraries and stuff are still used in the whole blockchain space as of today, and not only blockchain space.
Okay, yeah. Interesting. So you started working. So from Parity, what made you move over? What made you come up with the idea of Gear Technologies and Why are you doing what you're doing at Gear? What was the reason behind the move?
Yeah, it's like most of it is just having fun, because I really enjoyed the early days of Parity, like, and sometime later when we just few people doing great things. I try to kind of replicate this thing in Gear. So Parity now is kind of big corporation, like 300 people there, and it is no longer a startup. So it's really hard to kind of feel your own impact on things what are going on,
Right.
and yeah, with Garrett much simpler. And also I believe that like a sensible company must focus on small things, at least in technology space, and I mean in such a competitive space like blockchain and crypto development are. I believe focus on one simple things and doing it super perfect is a key to success. So mostly these things, and also fun, obviously. Like I had a lot of connections with co-developers, and yeah, I just wanted to make a technological story that everybody enjoy.
Nice. So tell us about Gear then. What are you trying to do at Gear Technologies?
So as you might know, Polkadot itself really lacks like an application layer by design and like by default. And what we're doing in Gear, so since Ethereum smart contract technologies really advanced, but still most people use Ethereum, but like principles are really advanced. There are now much more effective way in implementing application there than Ethereum is. And we are basically doing this, like taking most advanced design, taking most advanced technologies, and bring them all as an application platform for Polkadot. So by advanced design, what I mean, like first of all, any sensible application platform, like computational platform, must utilize all CPU cores, for example, and so should be like parallelizable, because now kind of computer hardware is advanced by increasing number of CPU cores, not by kind of raw power of each core, and any sensible solution for computations must utilize it. Second things we care about is really the ease of development. Like the development process should be super easy and really don't differ much from the traditional development that we also kind of make a bet on. And third, it obviously must be fast, even on single core. That while we are using WebAssembly, which runs close to native speeds, and really kind of suits best the current hardware, where essentially at the end all the computations are run.
Right. So just to understand here, with EVM, if a developer wants to deploy an EVM-based smart contract, they need to know Solidity, right? Whereas with WASM, it's more flexible. You can do it with C, you can do it with C++ or JavaScript, which are more common programming languages amongst the development world in IT. And so this is what you're aiming for. You're basically targeting the developer group that basically are more specialized in those sort of programming languages. And so my question is, how can you come up with this solution of being able to deploy a smart contract in 5 minutes? I'm assuming it's not exactly 5 minutes, but you had to give a random number. So the question is, how can you simplify the smart contracts? What are you doing differently to simplify the deployment of these smart contracts?
Yeah, we have some like design approach to that. So for example, instead of as you might know, when you program Ethereum, you need also to design storage for your programs, and we completely get rid out of it. Instead, we use like a clever virtualization technologies, which are found on modern hardware, where we just at the background we just store the whole program state for user, including all its memory, And so basically you just program, you just create a program that never ends, and it essentially becomes a smart contract. You don't need to kind of store something. You don't need to load something. You just write a regular program like you do, for example, cloud services or something like that. And it's just plain generic Rust, for example, plain generic C++. Yeah, the only thing you need to create is how to handle incoming messages and how to generate your own messages, and it's really nothing beyond that. You just program as you would program for outside of blockchain. So
Okay.
and we also provide a lot of examples, a lot of kind of showcases where you can just take and adapt the existing ones. And 5 minutes is not an exaggeration. We also have like a live network where you can deploy it just in a matter of minutes. Indeed.
Wow. Okay. So you're going to create a dashboard that developers can use to deploy this, right? Or is this a software development toolkit that you'll create?
It's both, actually. We also have it online. We also have like command line utilities, which we just deploy for you. So we have a lot of tools.
Okay, that's interesting. And how would you compare with something like Astar Network, who are doing the same, because they're working on EVM solutions, but also WASM. So how are you gonna compare to them, if I may ask? I'm not sure if you already looked at their solution. I'm assuming you did, because I know that they're very popular.
Actually, we developed part of the solution. So Astar takes like a standard substrate contracts model for WASM, and also standard like parity model for EVM, and just packs it to kind of to the parachain basically. And compared to that, we have much more advanced design, and we also develop our kind of smart contract engine in-house. So we actually all source of that, and we deploy it. And one of the key things, like there are two key things which I already mentioned before. So first of all, we are parallelizable. So as one application platform, we can run across multiple parachain slots without losing sense of that you have just one application platform. And this ease of development that I covered before also applies to us, because we kind of have this memory virtualization techniques where development process is much easier.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so what you're saying is you'll be able to allow developers to not only use your parachain, but also spread to other parachains with their product.
No, it's not really what I meant. I meant Gear can occupy multiple parachain slots. Oh. And there still be one application platform, because we use so-called like extra model for communications, and for when you interact with some program, it doesn't really matter if it situates on one parachain, Gear parachain, or another Gear parachain. You still will be able to interact smoothly with this, like sending messages and receiving messages, and it's all good. Parallel processed by the relay chain once it validates the parachain state.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you more about the Crowdloans in a bit, but now you actually got me curious about this. So is your plan then to have multiple parachains?
Yes, exactly.
On both Kusama and on Polkadot?
Yes. So initially we deploy as two parachains, so we're kind of interconnected. And once we see it all works smoothly, everything that we had design plans that works as expected, then we can, and also like an adoption comes, and we'll have more users, more workload, and such things. Then we can add another parachain slots and still kind of be able to work in the same, absolutely the same way as before when we had only two of them. So, and we can add on demand like multiple parachain slots to kind of to scale our application platform. So this is one of our design goals.
Okay, so what's your strategy in terms of obtaining those parachain slots? Are you going to hold a crowd loan on each one of those slots, or are you going to only do it on one and then self-fund the others, or how? What is your plan there?
Yeah, we'll. I don't think we will. I don't think we need the kind of resources from Crowdloan to actually, because we have resources of our own and our kind of partners. But we still have some kind of Crowdloan, probably for multiple parachain slot at once, if it's possible. I'm not sure if it's technically possible, but still. And yeah, so they are also quite cheap now on Polkadot, so I believe it won't be a problem. And yeah, as we add new ones, we'll probably have like a small auction for the new one, depending on price at the exact moment.
Okay, but did you already come up with a decision on the plan on how you're going to manage the crowd loan? Because as you know, you would have to distribute rewards for one to get one parachain slot, and then you would have to distribute the other rewards for the second parachain slot. So, I mean, are you going to split those rewards, or do you have a plan in place already about that, or?
We don't have an exact plan with exact numbers, but there will be some kind of reward for participating in a crowd loan, but it will be like small, and for each parachain slot it will be kind of graded. So if you participate in many, then you kind of multiply your reward.
Okay, I understand. So if I want to contribute to 3 of your parachain slots, for example, I'm going to get multiple rewards because I'm doing it in all 3. Okay, that's cool. And are you planning to launch these one after the other, or are you going to be doing it like over a period of time?
I mean, crowd loan probably will be sequential, but we will launch once we have 2 slots. So once we have 2 slots and we can occupy 2 of them, then we launch. And later we can add up more slots.
Okay, cool. And is your plan to launch on Kusama first or on Polkadot directly?
Yes, Kusama first.
Kusama first.
We test a lot of things on that, and then we go Polkadot.
Okay, that sounds good. Sounds good. And I do have to ask about timeframes. I know it's hard to say because when it comes to development, things are, unpredictable. But when do you estimate you're going to kick off the crowd loan, or when are you going to announce the crowd loan for gear on Kusama?
Current plans end of this year, probably. So yeah, we also currently working on launching our standalone network. It will be kind of test like a test network, but it still will be stable. We'll guarantee that it will never stop working. It will never lose any user data. Essentially, yeah, it will be kind of test bed for the whole of our protocol. So yeah. And after we finish our kind of homework there for reaching optimization goals, for reaching performance, like theoretical performance, then we'll take all the changes required for the protocol and then deploy this protocol as a 2 interconnected slots on Kusama. Should be by the end of this year.
Okay, that sounds interesting. What about the coin? The gear coin? I'm not sure if it's going to be called gear or if you have some other ticker symbol in mind. Will that be the same on both Kusama and Polkadot, or will they be different?
They will be different. I don't think like a secure bridging solution will appear between Kusama and Polkadot, so you can actually kind of swap coins between them. But at the time it will appear, we'll probably utilize it to kind of to actually allow swaps between our coins on different.
Yeah, and I don't know when Parity have planned for the bridge between Kusama and Polkadot to launch, but I'm assuming if it's going to happen this year, then it might be already live by the time you launch the crowd loan. So that will also make life easier for you, won't it, between Kusama and Polkadot?
Yeah, exactly. But for coins, it's hard to speculate. What will be what, because like
no, I'm not going to talk about prices because obviously that's something that the market decides. But what I am curious to know is in relation to future of gear? Like, I mean, do you plan to eventually be 100% on Polkadot, or will you always be operating on Kusama and Polkadot? Like, do you see a value in being on both relay chains?
Yeah, I see value in operating on both chains because gear is really part of gear sync is to provide utility for other parachains, and there are obviously parachains on both Kusama and Polkadot. So gear is really needed on both of the networks to provide value for all people out there.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. It's good to hear. Now, the other question I have is about the utility of the gear coin. So what utility are you going to set for it? Like, what, apart from governance and apart from transaction fees, what else can we use it for?
Oh, we'll have very little utility beyond pay for computations. I mean, we'll still have some governance that will obviously for on-time upgrades, and voting on specific parameters of the computations. But beyond that, probably little more, at least initially. Really generic utility platform that doesn't really involve in high level of governance. This is left for Polkadot and Kusama itself.
Okay, so if I'm a developer and I want to deploy a DApp on gear, do I need to hold gear to deploy that DApp, or I don't?
Initially, probably yes. You'll still need some gear token, but with advancement of DeFi on Polkadot and Kusama, at some point you probably might not even notice that you need a gear token. For example, you can just use any token and swap it on decentralized exchanges, and and this all will happen kind of in
Right. But what I mean is, like, all I need to do is just pay for the transaction fee to deploy the DApp. That's all, right? I don't need to I don't need like a fixed amount of gear to deploy that DApp. Like, I don't need to hold, say, I don't know, 1,000 gear in my wallet as well as pay for the transaction fee. I just pay for the transaction fee, deploy the DApp, and done.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there is no requirement for you to hold some kind of deposit or something.
Okay. What about staking? Are you looking at options there for gear?
Initially not, but we'll probably consider some staking in future for parachain, and for our standalone network there will be obviously be a staking, because we'll have like a completely separated validator network, and they will be used staking.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, let's talk about the partners for gear. So who are your current partners? Who are you most excited about when it comes to working together with?
Like we have plans for day one that a number of like infrastructure services will be available on our platform. So that would be decentralized exchange, Oracle services, and some kind of launchpad, but I wouldn't call it that name, but some kind of launchpad. So yeah, and we have partners several partners on each of these directions, and we really value the kind of determination and making this happen and to launch with us on day one. So yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. So now, what excites you most about gear? Like, what sets you apart from other parachains out there?
Probably the team. I think we managed to assemble like a most like a great team in the Polkadot ecosystem space. I think both in numbers and both in skill. And I really enjoy how people are working and deliver the product. You might check out our GitHub. We're super active and really solving like big engineering problems in our kind of small area of expertise.
Okay, that sounds good. And is there anything cool you'd like to share that's coming up with gear that we should expect?
Launch of our stable test network. It's really should be like comparable to other one solutions out there, like both in performance and the ease of development. In some sense, it might even surpass them.
Okay, that's interesting. Cool. No, thank you. That's been good. It's you've shared a lot of interesting information, and hopefully the audience will be interested and to learn more. Of course, I'm going to be posting links in the description of this video and also in the pinned comment, a direct link to the Gear website if you want to check it out. And then from there, you can get all the social media information if you want to follow them on Twitter and stay up to date. But I do have one final question, Nikolay, and that is what is one thing in life that you truly desire?
Oh, interesting question. Yeah, I mean, like don't really have like a personal goals. Probably something along with lines where, like I'm a kind of anarchist libertarian myself, so I really would like people to kind of think about the way they're interacting with other people, and that people realize that voluntary interaction with other people is a way to go for all people. So this thing happening more and more is what really I want people to realize.
So to be more
And it will
respectful
be-
in general.
Yeah, more respectful, avoid using violence, like avoid forcing people to something, and just cooperate voluntary and keeping their word and these kind of things.
Yeah. Stay true to their word. Cool. Thank you very much, Nikolay. I appreciate you coming on. And yeah, if you, like I said, if you want to follow Nikolay and Gear Technologies, all links can be found in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.